all the people came to him, and he sat down and taught them. So we see, unlike a lot of us, well, I don't say us, I'm not including this because I am an early riser. Jesus is an early riser. Okay? Early in the morning, he came to the temple. So he was up pretty early. We don't know what time it was, to get ready to go to the temple. Why? Because he knew the importance of teaching. Jesus knew that it was important for him to get in front of people and teach them. Hence the name Rabbi. It means teacher, for those of you who don't know. So what does Jesus look like? First thing we see here is Jesus, he's a teacher. Jesus is a teacher. Teachers never stop teaching. Okay? If you are a teacher, if you were a teacher, you teach. Like, that's something you enjoy doing. And you don't stop. Whether it be with your own kids, with kids at a school, with kids at a daycare, anything like that. Like, you don't stop doing it. It's just in you. Learners never stop learning. If you enjoy learning stuff, if you enjoy looking at books, I enjoy looking at books. If you enjoy reading books, okay, and learning new things, all right, like, you want to do that. That is something that I have never, ever in my life wanted to do, okay, read a book. Reading is fundamental. That's what they say. But learners never stop learning. Leaders never stop leading. If you're a leader, you never stop doing that. It's in you to lead people, to lead something, to lead your family, to lead your friends, to lead at work, to lead at school. Leaders don't stop being leaders. Okay? Good leaders are learners, and good leaders are teachers. Let me say that again without mumbling. Good leaders are learners, and good leaders are teachers. And they can show by example. So if you are a good leader, you're a good learner. You want to learn new things. You want to be able to learn, to be able to lead better. And if you're a good leader, you're a good teacher. You are leading your people. You are leading the people that are following you, the people that are trusting you. You are teaching them something. It may not be with words that you're saying, standing in front of people and teaching them something. It may be the way you're acting. You know, it may be, how many of you have parents? I mean, everybody has parents, okay? How many of you, when you were little, said to yourself, I'm not going to raise my kid like that? Most people did, and chances are you probably ended up raising your kid like that. But where did you learn how to or not to raise your child? From the leader that you had, from the parent that you had. You know? You learn by observing as well. So we see that Jesus, he was a teacher. He knew the scriptures and he taught them. Jesus knew the scriptures and he taught them. He didn't just go to the synagogue or the temple and wing it, okay? He knew the scriptures to begin with, and he taught them. Next in verse 3, we see this, reading on. The scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in adultery, and placing her in the midst, they said to him, Teacher, this woman has been caught in the act of adultery. Now in the law, Moses commanded us to stone such a woman. So what do you say? This they said to test him, that they might have some charge to bring against him. Jesus bent down and wrote with his finger on the ground. So I think I've always heard historically and stuff like that, I mean, it's probably more of a setting like this, where Jesus is kind of in the middle and people are just around and he's just teaching, okay? Now, I don't know if there were sweet aisles where people could come through. Okay, I don't know that. But at some point in the middle of him talking, okay, the crowd splits. And the Pharisees bring this woman, and they put her down. They throw her down in the middle there, in the midst of everyone. Okay? Caught in the act. Like you were doing the act, and you were caught. There's none of this, it wasn't me, or check my text messages. I never talked to that person ever. Okay? No. You were caught red-handed. Your hand was in the cookie jar. Okay? So we can assume that this lady is either A, naked, or very, very little clothing on. And she's thrown in the middle of a crowd, just thrown here. How embarrassing is it? First off, to be caught. I mean, how many of us have had that sin in our life that we think is hidden well? And then something happens and you're found out. Like, how embarrassed are you when it is found out? But there she is. She's found out, embarrassed, naked, afraid, because I'm sure they weren't pleasant to her as they drug her to where Jesus was. I'm sure they weren't just silent either. Let's go. I'm sure there were words being tossed around to her. We're about to stone you. You're about to die. Okay? So afraid, scared. Where are you taking me? You know? Think about what's going through the woman's head. We see that Jesus was a patient man, though. Think about it for a second, too. He's in the middle teaching, like I'm in the middle of class, and all of a sudden the crowd splits again, and in comes a group of people and throws a woman, again, naked or almost naked woman in front of me. And Jesus, he doesn't like raise his voice. He doesn't say, what's going on back there? Can you guys, hey, can y'all stop talking? Oh, what is this? You know, no. He's a patient man. He almost welcomes the disturbance. I mean, it's Jesus. He knows what's about to happen anyway. But he just kind of, well, we see what he does. In James chapter 1, it says, "Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger." So what does Jesus look like? He's quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. He's teaching again in the middle of the crowd, and the disturbance comes, and he just kind of, okay, let's see what this is about. You know, and they come and throw the woman down. Let me listen to what they're going to say now. Let's hear this. Instead of stopping them before they even talk, he's going to let them go ahead and bring out what it is. Like, why'd you come here? Slow to speak, slow to anger. He wanted to hear it. You know, Twitter and Facebook, all those things, they can be great tools. They honestly can. I don't know how many, where I went to school, the Bible college I went to, you know, we have a missions department and missionaries all over the world. And I don't know how many times I get on Facebook and I see those missionaries asking for prayers or telling a story about something that happened, or even pastor friends I have, you know, all across the world that tell us things. Without it, we wouldn't know these things. You know, the way that it worked in the I don't want to say denomination, it's a Baptist denomination,